So I want to talk about gamma squeezes just for a moment because there is a huge difference in AMC's environment pre-June 2nd versus its environment now. Not only just with the obvious manipulation that's taking place, orders being, shipped out from the exchanges, um, but there's been so many videos being made, and no one comes out and says this, and I don't know why it's not brought up. I guess it makes for great content to be like, ooh, some people are betting X amount of millions of dollars that AMC is going to hit this by this price. And just looking at the option chain for the end of this week, this right here, 145 strike, 33,000 open interest, which I believe is the most contracts for the furthest strike price. This is idiots, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. This is not big money. This is brand new fucking investors that don't know shit about options. That's it. They buy the cheapest ones, because what happened pre-June 2nd was the highest strike price you could get was $40 on June 18th is when it expired. That was the highest strike price in a call option you could get. The rest, I think, were like at $20. I think it was the highest. And I mean, then going, you pick as far out as you want. Like $40 was the only one available on June 18th at that strike. And a bunch of people bought that, and I mean, it was cheap. It was cheap as shit. I think it was like $30 per contract or something like that. It was very cheap. And if people were just venturing into options then and just learning about options, if they bought a few of those, and then June 2nd hit, I mean, those, if you bought like four by the time June 2nd rolled around, you were looking at like $14,000 on four contracts that you paid less than $200 for. And people saw that, and now they're not even paying attention. I mean, then, the price was around in between $12 and $14. It was only a roughly less than $30 price movement up. And now you're in the 30s, and you're over here spending money on the cheapest contracts again, because that's what people did pre-June 2nd. And it blew up and was worth a lot of money. I mean, you need $110 movement here now. And the farther off you are from the strike price, I mean, through the day, every hour that ticks by, you lose more and more money if this thing is not moving steadily upwards toward that strike price. Now, yeah, if you know what you're doing, sure, you don't have to hit 145. If you're able to day trade, if you have the amount of money required to be able to day trade, sure, if you can catch this at the bottom of a run and buy like 5 to 10 of these, and then it runs up a dollar or two in a very short time frame, really, really quickly, you can sell it and make some small profits. But all of this, these guys making videos, oh, someone's betting this, no one's betting this. This is new retail investors that don't know what the fuck they're doing. Because people that trade options, like, you give yourself at a minimum a month, like at a minimum. Most people do 2 to 3 months. A lot of people go out like leap status and go out a year or more or something like that. It just gives you plenty of time to make money on these things. And not lose it. This is a problem right here. That is a huge problem. All of that money, all of it, every bit of it, is going into the market maker's pocket. Every bit of it. It's ridiculous. You would want to be doing something like shit that's right around in the money. I mean, you've had plenty of time to watch this to see where they're keeping it. And the reason we're not getting any gamma squeezes and aren't going to get any gamma squeezes is because no one's buying the contracts that are going to force this to squeeze. You would literally have to buy like $30 strike prices right now. Everyone would have to be buying, $25 to $30 contracts, strike prices, and then you'd force hedging. It would be forced. If enough of those contracts were bought, a market maker would automatically have to buy those. They're already in the money, so they have to have them on hand. Anything that everyone getting shit like over $35, I mean, you're wasting your money at this point. You've been wasting it for a long time now, and this is not big money that is making this bet that this shit goes to that price. Not at all. Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, look at that. Just look. There's every fucking week. Every week, there's 145 strikes with ridiculous fucking amounts of open interest because this is ignorance right here. This is ignorant people. It's ignorant. You're just taking the word of these fucking YouTubers telling you this is going to blow up eventually. This is going to blow up eventually. If this isn't built correctly, if this is not built right, this is where everyone fucked up when this went up to $70 and then they opened up the $145 strikes and in between. Everyone took their pre-June 2nd knowledge that they now think they have and started buying the cheapest, furthest out strikes, expecting it to blow up. But there was no way to force gamma at that point. None. People should have taken that money that they made off of, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40 strikes, whatever they had, and should have used all of that big gain to buy more 40s, more 50s, and maybe some 55s. Keep it below. Keep it like $15 below where that shit was. You probably could have got away with 60. And they would have had to hedge. They would have had to hedge for more 40s, brand new 40 contracts. They would have had to hedge for 50s, 55s, 60s, even though the price is over 70. And that would have pushed it up, would have kept pushing it up. And that's how you create a legitimate gamma squeeze. It started with the original $40 contracts. That's really what kicked it off, the 20s to 40s, when this thing picked up and went. From there, you don't continue to play the ones that are way, way out in strike price. You don't do that. You start when you make that money, you can afford the ones that are in the money now. So you buy contracts that are in the money. Like, this is how you hypothetically create a legitimate gamma squeeze. And that didn't happen. That did not happen. And you still see, this shit is ridiculous. This is craziness to me. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I mean, what are you fucking hoping for? Like, you've been watching them destroy this stock all month. All month you've been watching it. And you're still loading up on these. Loading up. That's fucking crazy. That's literally crazy. We got. See, these are more reasonable. There's still opportunities to make quite a bit of money because you're not so far out. This is about half, well, if I guess 100% of what the price is now that you have to get up to. But even if you bought these at like 31, 32 today, something like that, that price movement moving up, you can make quite a bit of money in the in-between, even though you're not at 70 or getting to 70 yet. And I know it's a pain in the ass for one, because it's impossible to day trade if you don't have 25 grand in your account. And I've already been over that. It's fucking stupid. But either way, day traders can make money like that. And most of the people involved in this are not day traders. They don't have day trading experience, and they don't have day trading money. Yeah, just Jesus. See, these are smart plays here. All of these, everything underneath of where it's at, all the in the money contracts. These are smart. These can cause hedging. If you get enough open interest of in the money contracts opened up, they will automatically get hedged for. Like, automatically get hedged for. Yeah, you guys should know everything there is to know about everything right now. These guys will draw up contracts not having the shares, which that's something else that should, like, you should have to have the fucking shares to make in the money contracts for one. Like, you should have to already fucking have them at a minimum for in the money contracts. Like, if people want to buy that right there, they should be able to exercise it immediately if they wanted to. I mean, you wouldn't really do that, but still. These guys have so many floated contracts out here that they're never going to hedge for. Like, unless you force them to. Unless you push that exercise button. But you're already seeing all the FTDs. Like, they're collecting all these premiums and don't even have the shares that you're buying, basically. Essentially, you have the right to those shares, and they don't even fucking have them. It blows my mind. But yeah, there's a huge difference, guys. Huge difference between pre-June 2nd and now. And now people are finally starting to bring this shit up that I've already fucking said. The market makers are making a killing. Citadel fucking owns Citadel Securities. Citadel LLC, Citadel Securities, Ken Griffin, both. He owns both. You guys are just giving him more money. This is one of the reasons why I opened a Fidelity account, because I looked into that more, and yes, you can route your orders to the specific exchange you want, tying Citadel's hands behind their back. They cannot touch your fucking order. So that's why I am there. And I would recommend highly that you move to a brokerage where you control where your order is processed, where it goes to. But yeah, so these are wastes of money. I mean, if you want to buy, like, deeper in the money, I don't know, fucking maybe at a minimum 6 weeks. If you want that cheap ass contract, sure, whatever, because that's not a bad time frame. You never know. This could blow up tomorrow. Sure, it can, but that's just insane. That is literally insanity to me. There's nothing even remotely close to this. This is 3 times more than the most open interest on any other contract a month away. A month away. And all your favorite YouTubers told you that this was going to happen by the end of June. Look at where it's at now. And again, it's not because the stock's doing bad. It's not because people aren't trying to buy it. It's just because of the manipulation. And you have to understand how to battle this fucking robot. Like, you have to know how to battle this robot. This here isn't it. We're just feeding it money. We're just giving it money. More and more money. Yeah. Fingers crossed, I guess. It's fucking ridiculous. Just out of curiosity, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, not shit. I don't think so. No. I think January 2022 is where a lot of people went. Yeah. And even these guys, not hedged for. Not hedged for. People think that once this shit, and I mean, look at the fucking fails to deliver. People think that once it immediately hits that strike price, or, well, your favorite YouTubers tell you, oh, they already hedged for these. They already hedged for these. No, they fucking don't. 94% of options contracts do not get exercised. They don't. There are very few instances where you exercise contracts. Like, if you had $20 and $40 contracts before June 2nd, that's a scenario where you would have most definitely wanted to exercise contracts, because the value of that was much higher by exercising it. You would have made several $1,000s extra because of how much it ran up. Usually when you're looking at, if you have a $20 strike and it's, times, it's at least 2.5 times that. So if it was like, over 50 and it's a $20 strike, usually when you exercise that, you would make more money. especially the 70s. It all depends. Again, there's so much that goes into this shit. It's so hard to explain. Like, you really have to study this shit and learn about it yourself, because it's just a lot. There's a lot that goes into contracts and understanding the delta, and gamma, and vega, and IV, all that shit. But yeah, they do not hedge for these until it gets very close to its expiration date, because they're banking on the fact that you're not going to want to exercise them anyway. You're just going to sell it right back. So they don't need to waste the money on the shares. That happens all the time. All the fucking time. So we are in a shit situation anyway, regardless. Anyway, you cut it, you're getting a piece of shit. Whether it's a little piece of shit or a big piece of shit, that's what you're getting when you cut this thing right now. More people have got to see this for what this is and start talking about it for what it is. 100% pure, blatant manipulation of stocks. Now, there are some people finally, like I said, starting to fucking talk about it. I'm curious to see if they switch the computer up now. If this week we're going to start seeing like similar price action, but if the charts are going to look different now, if they're going to try to make the charts look different, but if you were to like pull all the candles from the day and line them up, it would be very, 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 very close volume total for the day. Something else I need to look into with Fidelity, and it's just something I was thinking about. I have not looked into it. Is, the buy orders may be outweighing sell orders, and we do know I've already seen like 6-7% of volume. It's not reflected in the price action. Maybe people are buying small orders. It could be a lot of just small orders coming in, and the sell orders could be huge. I'm just trying to think of any argument that they would use or try to come up with, because I don't know. I know that inflow and outflow at one point was explained to me that, when inflow is greater than outflow, that means your buying pressure is super immense compared to sell pressure. And then I had someone say, no, that just means how many orders were put through, and it could have been a lot of small buy orders versus big sell orders, and that's why price action moved down. I don't know, that's something I gotta look into. Again, I am just trying to put myself in Shitty Dell's shoes and try to look at every angle they're going to look at and what they would say if they were faced with this. Like, someone brought manipulation up to them on air and showed them some of the shit that people have brought up, and what they would say. So I don't know. Yeah, I wanted to go over that a little bit. Like I said, buying options right now is just you're gambling. It's insane. All you're doing is giving them money. And look at this. These are perfect environment here to kill your options, to kill them. And why not? Why wouldn't you do that? I would destroy your options when I come here and I go down to the options chain and I see that 33,980 uneducated fools bought ridiculous strike prices on contracts. And I'm just going to kill it. Kill it. You're already done. Like, you're already done. You are so negative right now. So negative. Like, your contract might only be worth a fucking $1 right now. And you keep doing it. Keep doing it. That one's at least not as, this is only 112. It's only 125. Oh, you guys don't like 125. You want that 145. You want that super cheap. Super cheap. That one's only 120. What's going on in August? Only going to 70. Oh. Jesus, man. And apparently these are all the same fucking people. I only want the 145 strikes. That's all the ones I'm interested in. That's all I want, the 145s. Pushing 30,000. Oh, God. Man. Now, like, what are you going to do for real if this ends up being a managed event and they just kind of let it spurt up to the 70s, maybe 80s or something, then drive it back down, and a few days later let it spurt back up to the 70s, 80s, and then drive it back down? Because that's possible. Anything's fucking possible. Obviously anything is possible with this shit. This is a waste of fucking money. A waste. I mean, I get it. I could understand if this was, let's see. I don't want to get too crazy and think people are being too silly, because maybe there is another contract closer to the strike price that's close to that. Nope, that's fucking wishful thinking. Oh, there we go. See, and 40 is a good one. That's a good one. That's a very good strike price to be at. See, that right there, that's logical. That's smart. That is a smart price for how far that is out, given where we're sitting right now. That has the potential to make a lot of money, regardless of what happens. If this becomes a managed event where they don't allow it to go over 100, but they just allow it to like pump up a shitload of times in under 100, which who fucking knows? No one knows what they're going to do, what's going to happen. No one knows at all. We know the scenario. We know what could potentially happen. We still know all these positions have to be covered. Nothing's changed in that dynamic, but we don't know if the government's going to step in and regulate this shit or not. No one fucking knows. Nobody. So if that's the case, just you got to prepare yourself for anything that could happen. If that were to happen, if that was the case, and you're these people right here, you're fucked. Like, you're literally fucked. You're screwed. Unless it makes a sharp break from like where it's at now, straight up towards 100, like somewhere between 70 and 90 or something, then yeah, you could make a little chunk of change there, but selling it immediately. But that's not smart. That's just not smart plays for options. That's not 62. Yeah, that's smart. That's a smart play for that far out. Because you got so much time there, but there's no guarantee. Like, so many people thought this was already going to be over 100. We were already going to see the squeeze, and just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's valuable. Like, you get what you pay for. I would rather have 3 contracts here than 10 contracts here all day, every day. So, God, man, that is just money in their pockets. That's just fucking crazy. That's wild. Now, well, at least I know there's some smart people here, so that makes me feel better. That right there makes me feel a lot better, because that's a smart play. That is using your brain with options, and even $30. He's smart. Got some more in the monies that are up there. It's probably going to be the biggest one. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to go over that a little bit. The environment's way different. Gamma squeezes aren't some magical fucking fairy tale story that just happens. They're created by intelligent investors given a certain scenario, especially a short position. They're created. Gamma squeezes are built. They're built. They help to trigger a full-on squeeze, but you have got to be very, very close to in the money or in the money, because contracts don't do shit for the price at all. They don't. That has to be direct underlying purchases, straight up stock that you're buying to move the price of the stock. But you can build gamma squeezes in there if you're intelligent to where once that price gets pushed up, boom, you get an ungodly amount of hedging at a certain strike price that then kicks it up to the next level. And if you have it laddered, which that's what hedge funds do. It's basically like a reverse ladder attack. When you force them to hedge, you go from 35, boom, a bunch get hedged for, pushes it up to 40. That coupled with the buying pressure continuing to move it up, that boom, bunch of hedging pushes it up to 45. Then you have them at 45, boom, pushes it up to 50. Like you just can have a non-stop hedging effect when intelligent people are investing in the options chain. But this is not intelligence at all. That is asking to lose your money. That's just straight giving it to Citadel. Here, guys, make the donation anonymous. Feeling charitable today. All right, guys. Just wanted to talk about that for a minute. But overall, no, options contracts do not affect the price of an underlying. They do not. You can create a gamma squeeze if you're intelligent, but you still need buying of the underlying to move that price up to get any sort of hedging. But like I said, their entire goal, their game plan for July was to kill the options chain, and that is what they have done. They want to kill it. They've taken away volume, which you need. They've taken away the price movement, which you need. They are just waving it here, boom, boom, little tiny chip-choppity waves that just crush any and all volatility. That was their goal this month. That's what they're doing, and they're winning. They are. Not a whole lot we can do. I'm telling you, someone's gonna have to go kick some doors down, have some conversations with some hedge funds or other people in regulatory positions. Alright, get out of here. Make sure I don't have any fucking homework to do.